How was it growing up?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I was pretty outgoing. I mean, school, it's like tribes, isn't it? There's this group and that group, and I wasn't in the kind of like with the jocks and stuff, but I wasn't unpopular. I got pushed around a little bit because I was a bit of a show off, and that pissed people off.
What'd you
But
show off? What would you do? Just kind of mouth
well,
people?
my teacher used to every Monday morning would let me tell a joke in front of the class, like get up and tell a joke, so that and I think it was his way of kind of exhausting me a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So I'd calm down. But that was like, yeah. And then I guess my mom was big into like community theater, so I hung around a lot of those kind of show people as a kid. And then when I got to about 15, the idea of doing it for a living sort of cropped up, because there was a college course that let you do like theater studies at A level, which is our kind of college just before we go to university here. And my mom was just like, yeah, go for it, why not? And that was that.
I remember I was like that in school too, where I got picked on, but I was always mouthing. I had a quick, yapper. I was just like quick with the wit, I guess. And I remember things like my teacher, Mr. Shelby, in pre-algebra, because I wasn't smart enough for algebra. Um, he was facing the board and writing something, and I just did this incredibly loud armpit fart. You know,
Beautiful.
and I ripped one, and everybody started laughing. And he wasn't even he was looking at the board. He goes, "Rosenbaum out in the hallway." And I walked out the door, and then I stopped and I turned to him like in a movie, and I go, "How'd you know it was me?" And he goes, get out now."
Because you
Like,
had form, that's why.
yeah,
Your
it was,
reputation
yeah, it was just.
preceded you.
Were you a fan of like Star Trek and Mission Impossible and horror movies growing up? I mean, what was it you liked?
Oh yeah, I mean, Star Wars hit for me when I was eight. Actually, it came to the UK in '78. It came the winter after it came out in America,
Uh,
and that hit like a bomb for me, as it did for most children of that age. Um, and I'd already, been into kind of science fiction and like Ray Harryhausen movies, Jason and the Argonauts, Sinbad, that kind of stuff. Um, and then, yeah, Star Wars just sort of, it just, it was seismic, wasn't it? I mean, it was just one of those moments that it will never happen again, ever.
no.
And it just changed my life in so many ways. And then I started seeking out, and then I found the old original series of Star Trek. So I used to watch that. They repeated that in 1979 on BBC Two. It used to be on at 6 o'clock every night. I watched that religiously, loved that.
What
And
about Doctor Who? Was that around when you were young?
yeah, yeah. Well, Doctor Who, absolutely. I watched that from a very early age. That was back when it was like cardboard. I mean, ridiculous, just ridiculous. But you never questioned it. You watched it and you believed the Daleks, and you believed that however amateur and cheap it looked,
Yeah.
it didn't matter because you use your imagination.
I mean, so when you get to do these things like Mission Impossible and Doctor Who, is it just surreal? Is it at first? Do you get nervous? Are you like, oh my God, I'm doing something that's larger than life?
Utterly. I remember when I was in Doctor Who in 2005. It's happened so many times for me in a weird way, but winding up in Star Trek and having a little something to do in. Well, actually, I did a little bit in The Force Awakens, but I also did
Yeah.
a voiced Dengar, the bounty hunter in Clone Wars, and I was a droid.
Come
This is a
on.
little known fact. I voiced a droid called Omri in a Star Wars game, who was the red protocol droid who ended up giving his arm to 3PO in the Force Awakens.
Wow.
But being on the set of Star Wars, that was just incredible. I remember, being there on the day when Harrison Ford and Jonas, who had played Chewbacca standing
Yeah.
up at that time.